Editing 360 video in Premiere 2019 or later is a breeze. You can create a new project just as you normally would. If you're dealing with large resolutions, you're going to want to set your ingest settings to create a proxy. Now, when you bring your stitched footage into your bin, it will automatically render proxy files for you to work with more easily. This render process may take some time. When you bring your footage onto your timeline, you can match the timeline to the settings on the clip. You'll also want to make sure to open up your sequence settings and select Video is VR, Stereoscopic 360 at the bottom. You can toggle between using your proxies or not with the Proxy button, which we will bring onto the toolbar. Once you've done this, you can enable VR viewing of your clips by clicking on the plus button here, then dragging the VR viewer button onto your toolbar. Clicking on the wrench will enable you to change the viewing options. To replicate the field of view of the YouTube Magic window, you'll want to set the field of view to 154 by 87. You can also select the anaglyph mode to review your stereo. When you see more red and blue on objects in an anaglyph, that means they are closer to the camera. Red is right and blue is left. In addition, Adobe allows you to view your timeline in a headset through Adobe Immersive Environments and Steam. Adobe has a tutorial available on that online. Now you'll be able to arrange, cut, and color your clips just like in a normal video. Just be careful of effects like vignetting that are not applied evenly across the screen. If your effects treat the edges of your video differently, you will have strange inconsistency on your 360 video. What if your point of interest in one clip is over to the right, while in the next clip it's behind you? You'll want to ensure that the point of interest remains in line so that viewers can follow the action clearly and not feel disoriented. You can use the offset effect from the Effects tab and scrub the X value on the clip so that they are aligned with each other. Now it's time to add your titles. You'll want to add a title larger than you normally would, and then apply the VR plane to sphere effect. The VR plane to sphere effect will shrink your title. This will also warp your titles the same way as your equirectangular lat long, so that when the video is reprojected onto a sphere, the titles will look straight. You can rescale your titles and change the settings as needed while viewing in your VR viewer. Under the VR plane to sphere effect, you'll select Rotate Projection and change the setting values to make sure that your title is where it should be in the scene. You can also use the scale to make your title larger or smaller. Finally, select the anaglyph viewer and change the stereo disparity in the VR plane to sphere effect. This will slide your title back and front inside of Z space, making it feel closer or farther from the viewer. Great job! Now you're ready to export your 360 video. First, you're going to want to ensure that you are no longer working with your proxies by unchecking the Use Proxy button. This will allow you to export in the highest resolution. You'll want to check that your bitrate is high enough to maximize the quality of your video. For a 4K stereo video at 30 frames per second, you'll want a bitrate of 100 to 150 megabits per second, while 8K video will require 200 to 240 megabits per second. Make sure that the Video is VR selection is checked at the bottom with Stereo360 over/under. This will add the metadata that YouTube needs to automatically play back your video as a stereoscopic VR video.